Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with Napoleon Total War. And we're going to be playing, well, my favorite of the time period is Britain. And that's because I've read, been a great reader of the Sharpe novels, the classic Horatio Hornblower novels, which at least were started during World War II, being written, and Dewey Lambdin's Alan Larry, Patrick O'Brien's novels, Richard Woodman's historical novels, and of course Dudley Pope's Great Ramages series, and a lot of other history books, because once I get into a period I found that I wanted to read more and more about it. So Britain is my favorite, and we're going to play that. It's going to be a little lighter than something, say, March of Eagles, which we may do as well. But I wanted to play something other than, because my channel is looking like the World War II channel. It's a history gaming channel, so we are branching out to other periods. And, of course, one of them being the Napoleonic era. So, we will start the campaign here.
Napoleon and his godless revolutionaries have no respect for the status quo. They insist on meddling with the balance of power on mainland Europe. Defenseless Liguria has been annexed by France, and such behavior cannot be tolerated. As a result, Great Britain has joined forces with Austria and Russia to oppose French continental ambitions. Sweden, Portugal, and the smaller Italian states have vowed to aid the struggle, but the three great powers must take most of the strain in opposing this monstrous revolutionary threat. Whilst Austria and Russia attempt to deal with Napoleon on the fields of Bavaria, you must ensure that his navy is kept in check. Admiral Villeneuve's fleet must be intercepted by the Royal Navy, lest the armies of France march on British shores. Then, inshore blockades are maintained across all French ports. Finally, your long-standing ally Portugal must be aided in pushing through into occupied Spain, opening a second front and splitting the might of Napoleon's armies.
All right, good intro, like that. So we'll continue this, or we'll start this, I should say. Okay, one of the things we want to do very early on is trade. We want to trade with everybody. Make sure that we have trade. Yes, good. Well, France we can't. Ottoman Empire we are at peace with currently now, and we are trading good. Prussia. Yes, we want to request a trade agreement. Okay, great, got that. Russia, they're sort of indifferent, but... and request trade agreement. Okay, very good. Spain is hostile, we are at war. And the minor nations. War at war. Denmark, I think we are trading with that symbol there, but let's make sure. They can't trade, I guess. So, Mecklenburg, can they trade with us? Yes. Good, got that. And Portugal, which probably Portugal. In England, there's a type of wine called port, and it comes from Portugal. Oh, Porto. The port is. Okay, good. So we've got that. So everybody we can be, in a practical sense, we are trading with. We want to trade with anybody and everybody. Okay. Now down here, Gibraltar. This is going to be a key to our success, and we want to hold it. Now, there's a few things I am dissatisfied with this game already. We will start recruiting fencibles here because we want to hold this. And it doesn't have a fort. Gibraltar is, of course, at its foundation, a fort. And since at least the 7 Years' War, not before it's been rather fortified, so it should start out as a fort. Now we can't build one just yet. We don't have enough money. We have spent a little bit on
Shipshape and Bristol fashion, Captain. On our way, Captain.
I'm getting fencibles up there, but we want to do that. And we want
Your
this
Majesty?
guy, who is he? Joss Hathaway, a gentleman. You want to get him to your universities to start researching things. And we're going to start with division of labor. We are an industrial nation. Okay, so. And to frustrate our
Yes, Your Majesty. Back to battle.
enemies, we are going to do some commerce raiding. Wait till it gets down there. Okay, so we are not really being pirates, it's our navy going out. And we're going to come here. Now
Yes, my lord.
I'm picking these spots to sort of hem in and protect these ports to some degree.
Orders, Captain.
But it does get us a little benefit and hurts our opposition. Okay, now I've removed, because it takes way too long to watch what we can see around the map during the rest of our turn, because I do want this to flow a little better. So we can just hit this and they will walk through the nations. Okay, Confederation of Rhine. Although nominally independent, the German lands along the eastern bank of the River Rhine are mere pawns to be called, or of the so-called French Republic. Okay, so yeah. And we have our fencible recruited, and war was declared between Ottoman Empire and Austria. Okay, not what we needed to have happen. Come down here now. Can't afford this now, so we will start that, and we can also recruit another fencible. Ah, good. The French have wanted to come out and play. Villeneuve is here, so we're going to attack him with Nelson.
Easy prize money.
Now, I'd like to think that I'm a good naval commander, but I am no Nelson, so we have overwhelming victory. So we are going to allow the computer to do this. 6 versus 6, and we have heavier ships. So
The sea is ours.
we lost one of our reasonably heavy, captured one. Enemy has what, one remaining, so we'll move that to our fleet and accept that. They're sailing away. Now, I want to do the Nelson touch and keep attacking, but
On deck. On our way, Captain.
we are damaged, so we're going to head home for repairs.
Reef sails.
Okay, that's going. And let's use the mini-map to come up here. I think we're good here. Yeah. We don't really have much in the way of money at the moment. Okay, so some of our trade routes are being blocked down here by that French fleet, the remainder of it. Another fencible. An auxiliary. A famous courtesan, General William Huxon. Don't know him right offhand. Good. Happiness for the nobility.
Aye, aye, sir. Yes, your majesty.
We're gonna keep pounding up these fencibles. Just if you didn't know, I know this is a fairly old game. Played it not when it was first out, but quite some time ago. They're the gray ones, bars there are inherent to the city, and the rest are the goldish ones are sort of army when you click here. Just in case you didn't know that. And now we have some other monies here. Well, you know what we're gonna do. Also, and played this before, we want to port down to, instead of having to go back to England to repair, we're gonna have a dockyard down here to repair. So we're gonna do that as well. Get that underway. My only hope is that we can hold out there long enough to get that going. Now up here, no, that's not a port yet. Okay, Naval Recruitment, and we can just afford that, just barely. So we'll go with that. And yes, another fencible has been recruited. Important movement. Get these guys home to be repaired.
Underway.
And we're going to recruit another fencible. I think to a point just numbers is what we need to do. Once we get that built, we'll be in a much better place. And we do have some cash. Let's see. Clearances. Yeah, food's important. Now clearances. In case you don't know what they are. Let's see, what do they hover over? Okay. Farms add to their wealth and improve the rate. The rate at which units are replenished. Okay, but clearances. What that was, Britain, as all of Europe, of course, was a medieval world at one time. As you move, peasants, sometimes they may be serfs, but they're not necessarily serfs. But peasants had rights, including the rights to the common, as well as the way they would divide up the land. I don't know, this doesn't really represent it well, but so what they would do is have, say, I don't know, strips of land that this strip, and this plot over here would all be one peasant's plot, and this one, and this one, and this other one would be another one, to sort of share out the really good land, the okay land, and the not so good land, to share it all out. And also what they had rights to the common, which was commonly held land. So, and you know, they're calling us clearances, which is a bit of a loaded term. Background tenant farmers are okay. Let's see what they're saying. Except rents had to pay successful tenants develop become quite wealthy men. Okay, this is not even close. Not really what's going on here, but and clearances was a bit more would be used in the Highlands, the term, but this was really more an enclosure act. So what they would do is, say, 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 with the enclosures, you lost the rights to the common land. So like a cottage, there may have the right on the common land to, say, graze one cow, or maybe two cows, or whatever. And that cottage would have that right, so that the owner of the cottage wouldn't be able to buy a bunch of cows and overgraze the land because it was held in common for the villages. The Enclosure Acts, they would remove those rights. They had to go through Parliament. It wasn't just, oh, this landlord's throwing people off their land. No, they had to go through Parliament, get the whole thing worked out to make it more like this here, where you have, well, this one plot of land would be one farmer's plot of land, this one plot of land would be another farmer, this would be another one, instead of it all broken up into different strips and places. So you would make it much more efficient. Yes, there would be winners and losers, because not everyone would get equal amounts of the choice land. And that was going on, and the common lands could be enclosed, and you'd lose rights to them in many cases. Now, you may think this is cruel. Well, a lot of these setups were basic subsistence. I mean, guaranteed poverty. So you had no way out of it. And as you're moving more towards the ability to industrially farm, I'm sure you're moving people off the land, but they can go get a job at a mill or something else. So it's changed, and that's sort of what we're doing here, is enclosures. But they're calling it clearances. The clearances in the Highlands were sort of a similar thing, but they were clearing out the people, but literally forcing the people out of their homes. Basically, they would come in, and if you didn't leave your home voluntarily, they'd come in, take all your possessions out of your home, burn the roof, and push in the walls. The walls were stone. And so you can see all to this day, all over the Highlands, there's all these little villages that are just piles of rubble that they cleared off the people to graze sheep in the Highlands. It wasn't for farming. But enough about that. Let's keep the game going. And so, like I say, in the Highlands with the farming up there and the old ancient clan system, it guaranteed poverty, because it was not enough land for anyone to really be able to survive well on. Okay, William Cornwallis, Admiral, has a parrot. Morale in battle +1. And Nelson is still heading home.
Orders received and understood.
As you know, I'm an infrastructure guy. Okay, that needs 3,000.
Ready and waiting.
That's a mine already. Well, let's increase food out here as well. So we will do clearances out in Ireland. And we still have a little bit, so let's see if we can dig a mine in Scotland. I don't know what that noise is. I've had it before. I can sort of move away and it goes quieter.
Watching your enemies.
Okay, we have a merchantman. Great. And John Pratt, minister, now has a governess. Helps with the children. So, happiness for the nobility is +1. Now, here's our merchantman. Again, I don't know what that. There we go.
Heave away, boys. Heave away. Ready for action. Yes, Captain. Awaiting
Okay,
further
yeah,
orders.
I don't know exactly what that is. Now let's pay to repair these ships, including our captured one. Well, that's pretty big bills, but we very well are going to pay that. Get everything 100% up before we go back. Yeah, this is annoying. Okay, no, we're not going to join the war. That is really annoying. I think it'll go away very quickly here. There we go. Okay, technology has advanced. Great. And we have a small fort in Gibraltar and dockyards in Gibraltar, so we could do repairs there. And nation destroyed the Kingdom of Italy. Well, too bad. We are not going to go dying for countries. Well, that's only one. Should have done that last time. And there we go. Oh, good.
Ready for order.
Let's see if we go away from it. We'll minimize it. There we go. Don't know what sound effect that is. And down here. Okay, we now have a port down here. And we will recruit. Another fencible. Also, fencibles. They're not a militia. That is incorrect. It's an English term. A fencible unit was a full-time military unit, or as full-time as any military unit was. There were militia units in Britain, very much so. Militia in Britain, generally speaking, wore blue coats. The artillery also wore blue coats, but
At your service. Secrecy, my watchword.
Okay, just go to the port.
Stealth is my cloak.
So, but the fencibles, what they were at the time, they were regular army soldiers that were joined, but part of their condition in their whole unit, it was a fencible unit, they would not be sent outside of Britain. This is an important thing. Not that it was entirely hard to recruit soldiers to go fight in Europe, say. That was a thing you could recruit. What was dramatically hard to do was recruit soldiers into units that might get sent to, say, the Caribbean particularly, but also India, that they were just death sentences. You would send a unit out to the Caribbean, and 60% of the soldiers would die, often through malaria and other diseases that would just rampage through the unit. Now, once you had all the people die off, they're going to die off. They normally die pretty quick. Those that remained built up the immunities and would stay fine. So these lots and lots of people refused to have or would be willing to join for the pay, yes, for national defense. Yeah, hey, we're going to defend Britain. We don't really want to go fight in a foreign war, maybe, kind of thing. The one sort of, and they were sort of questioned whether they could have been sent or weren't sent, were some English fencible units that were sent to Ireland to help put down one of the uprisings during the Napoleonic era. And I would say, yeah, they did go overseas to get to Ireland, but that's still sort of Greater Britain, if you will. So, yeah. That's what fencibles were. And, of course, fencibles were regular soldiers, were trained, but probably weren't as trained and as effective as real regular soldiers were. Okay, they want improved coppering. Join the war, and they will give us public schooling, fire in advance, and a single payment. We're going to do a counteroffer, so I don't really want to go to... Let's see if they'll just do that. We'll trade you that. Okay, well, You didn't like that. Already got one war going on. I don't need another one. And we got an iron mine in Dumfries, Scotland, and Yorkshire farmlands clearances have completed. So that will help our nation develop. Down here we're going to continue recruitment. I have more fencibles just because they show up in one turn. So we're getting a decent little army, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. Up here, did I forget to move this last time? I may have. I do that at times. Another trading vessel, get the ports held. We want to control basically all trade. Okay, we're going to save our money because we want to start improving Oxford. Danes are moving. There's ships there. And clearances in Ireland. More food. Now that we have enough, let's go with this. Yes, we're just rushing some cannon fodder. Here mostly because it's just one turn. But now that we have a port we can repair down here, and hopefully we'll be fairly well holding on there. And let's go with roads as well. Okay. No, we don't want to go to war with the Ottomans. Want some improvements? Sure, we'll trade some of those. Of course, our fencibles. Eastern Potentate. Who has this? Oh, George III Minister. Okay. -1 prestige. Okay.
Yes, Your Majesty.
We'll come down here and bother the trade of our enemies as well as coming down. We know there's, I know there's some Dutch or Batavians over here, but we're going to ignore them for the moment. We're going to see if we can take out some of these guys.
Orders, Captain.
Okay, you come here.
On our way, Captain. Ship's orders.
Now, agents, board ship, Navy. Come over here.
Aye, aye, Captain. Awaiting further orders. On our
Slipping
way, Captain.
ashore. Stealth is my shield.
Yes, Your Majesty.
You go back to
Sail! Run up the colors!
pirating.
to, Captain?
Keep pirating.
Run out the line.
So, keep on them. And, no. Yeah, we'll do that. And let's come over here to Ireland. Okay, we don't have enough to upgrade that. Because this will help. 100 plus 100 per turn, so in 8 turns we'll start making a profit from it. Might as well do it early and now. Okay. Improve coppering, public schooling. Well, that I will take. We can renew our trade. Some other time. Oh, I keep clicking there, but really. So we have that now, which will help us. Now I want to build or recruit, really more build. Did I forget to move these again? Probably. But that'll get us another trade agreement or another trading thing for 440. Which is very good, of course.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Yeah, let's just come in and slam into these guys. I think we may have the Spanish fleet down here. I don't know who this is. Yes, they may come into this. Yes, they may come into this. Yep, we're going to do it again. I'm not going to be a better admiral than Nelson, so we will let him command
We
it.
shall rule the way.
Wow, yes, that was a Nelsonic victory, it looks like. We captured 2, the enemy killed 3. They had none remaining. They lost everything. So, to the fleet, yes. Like I say, very Nelsonian, the Nelson touch. Opposite to a lot of other nations, particularly the French, who like to fleet and beating. These are going down too. The British just go in and smash all of the opponents. Destroy them.
Orders, Captain. Heave
Not gonna
away,
try to-
boys. Heave away. Still shipshape. Orders received and
You can get into
understood.
port, that'd be great.
Awaiting
Okay, that's
further
great.
orders.
Yep. Repair. Repair. Oh, this guy's looks like he's hurt more. Repair it all. Okay, yes. Cost us a lot of the bulk of our fleet, but we what is this merchantman, so we can send him down somewhere and trade. Now, yeah, let's get you going. as a bit of replacement. Oh, and since we can see how valuable this is, another fencible. Just
Anything else?
oh, forgot to move him.
Oh. Hello.
Let's
Unseen, unheard.
okay, well, the Navy here. Just you go down there.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Get trading with Casablanca, put T.
Any orders?
That will help us. You guys, well, I think we'll leave you right there, blocking that for the enemy. Decent army. That we may do, but what we want to do is be able to rebuild our fleet. So we need a port, maybe a better one than that. Okay, so we want to up here something we can hold a little more securely. So I think we'll leave that while we build up our resources. Take a quick look at our ministers. Henry Dundas, who also at times was sort of the minister for war or army, so agrarian, he's pretty good. He's just morally impaired to the treasury. Let's fire him. Oh, what the hell? I was on Dundas. What the hell? Can we load last turn? Autosave. Right, okay, well, back to here, good. Okay, that was before the turn, so we gotta go through that turn again. Okay, now now let's look here. Ministers, army. Yeah, him. Okay, we now have Aaron Benneker. Don't know who he is, but at least he doesn't have a negative impact. Alright, and we are trading up here, aren't we? Yes, good.
Your will.
Again, forgot him, but whatever.
Oh. Hello. Moving.
That's still happening. Now down here. Just you.
Set sail. Awaiting further orders.
We can see it's bringing in 450. So that's very good, and we're going to recruit another guy just to make sure that we look very fearsome to the enemy. Keep our very important base there. What are we researching currently still? Okay. One, and then we've got the poverty laws. That looks good. Oh, and okay, we can't. Embargo prevents. Oh, okay, well. So we actually have an embargo. I know we ended it, but 8 turns remaining. Okay, in 8 turns we get back to trading with them. So, yes. Okay, fire in advance, classical economics. Well, let's modify this, get rid of that. And we can get rid of that, and we'll just trade. Okay, well. Could have had classical economics. We would have liked fire and movement. That was a good Frederick the Great's rolling fire tactic. Great. So, poverty laws. Okay, Michael Stowell has a bow. Okay. Roads in England and mines in Wales. Now I think we can, yes, start on that. And let's see, what else do we want to see about improving? You know, no, I think we want to do, let's do Ireland first, keep it, because it's Catholic, so it doesn't have, but it has a little more revolt risk. So we'll do that. Oh, and another fencible. Okay, new market pastures, better stables, and of course we have, well, both a sensible unit as well as merchants. No, just navy. We'll come out to there. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Oh, the Batavians up there, but I don't want to. Took a big hit that time with Nelson, but we took out everybody's fleet. Well,
battle stations, prepare to engage. Ready and waiting.
and we can look at our trade. Getting a little bit of pirated up here, I guess. The Spanish there. But we're importing from Africa, all of North America. If you want those things, you gotta buy them from us. You set sail. Maybe over there to protect. Okay, well, you run to that port. Sometimes they do that well. We're gonna run away.
Disengage.
Hopefully further than he can go.
Drop anchor.
If If not, we've lost a merchant vessel.
Enemy fleet ahoy!
Well, there we probably lost a merchant vessel. Yeah, I don't need to. They can...
The fleet is lost!
Yeah, we're lost. We lost a merchant vessel.
Infamy!
Okay, well that's what Nelson's going to have to do. Come up here and deal with these guys. Oh, what building was that? Oh well.
Ship's orders received.
Two turns faster. Okay, we'll take a brig in 2 turns. No, Ireland, you're going to start building ships as well. And you're going to start building or recruiting another merchant vessel. All too expensive for what we have currently. Alright, well, let's end the turn here. Uh-oh, he's going to come over and burn something. Okay, poverty laws, we're going to... No. No. We won't even make... We'll just do a straight trade. Yes, you've raided Bristol. Okay, John Scott now has a thief taker on his staff. Well,
Aye, aye, sir. Ship's orders received. Ready and waiting. Aye, sir. Lord? Troops, forward!
and this army, go occupy here.
Forwards!
Protect that port from
Supplies.
these guys invading. There we go. There we go.
We'll be back here tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We start with a Fox News alert, a rented...
Sorry about that. Okay, well, yeah, so that's burning. They're up there pirating.
Yes, my lord.
I'm going to guess they're not quite
Prize
as many first-rate types
and the prize.
as we are. Oh, who knows what they are, trading port. Okay, so yeah, 38 and 26 gun versus us. We're gonna smash them.
The oceans are ours.
Okay, no losses, Looks like light damage at best. Courageous Admiral, +2 in morale. Yes, I know we still have enemies over there, but we're gonna move a little bit after some of these other guys.
Underway. Awaiting further orders.
Okay, gunsmith or manufactory? Let's go with a manufactory. Okay, so now okay, agent recruited, David Ricardo. David Ricardo is sort of the dark side of capitalism. Just saw a tweet, you know, a few days ago as I making this, you know, talking to someone in China, but publicly. Well, the capitalistic model is everyone out to get just what you can, you know, and damn the consequences, or something very close to that. And I posted, well, you haven't read Adam Smith, the founding thinker of capitalism, then, because Adam Smith wrote 2 books. He wrote other pamphlets and short bookish things, but 2 main books. The first one was On Moral Sentiments, and it's a morality in government book. His second book was The Wealth of Nations, dealing with capitalism. Those 2 books go together. They come before David Ricardo here, who is the sort of greedy, capitalistic, sort of in the Malthusian sense of, if you will, Darwinian viewpoint of grind away the weak in society and life. And that is not, I mean, you can always have a dark side of everything, but he is the dark side of capitalism, if you will. And unlike the founding and basic principles of capitalism, which is not that. Okay, you jump in here and do research for us still. Okay, which will research things faster, better, quicker, whatnot. Okay, we want to get to drill school, so we need to get to there. So let's shift over to that. Now,
Fleet ready. On our way, Captain. Clear decks for
you
battle.
guys come into there to blockade that,
Sir.
and you march in to occupy it.
Ready. This land is ours.
Okay, 38 and a 26 versus a 50, 32 and 38. So I think we've got this, and well, I'm gonna let Cornwallis, who was also, this isn't the Cornwallis, the General Cornwallis. This is the Admiral Cornwallis.
The fleet is lost.
What? Enemy killed? We lost? William Cornwallis? How did that happen?
Infamy.
That is pretty bad. Well, on that note, we have... And Cornwallis is dead. Wow. You know what we're gonna do? Save. Auto. I don't like that result. No. Load. Auto save. Yeah, no, I don't like that result at all. Well.
Make ready.
Let's. Okay, well, I gotta end this. No. Normally you don't do that, but that was just.
This land is ours. Where to, Captain? Rise for the taking.
I think it might have been that we were.
Our nation.
That's better.
rules the sea.
Not. Well, we did have a loss, but we do have a gain here too. So we'll accept that.
Yes, Your Majesty. We are a fleet, not an army. Yes, Captain.
Yes, we know you're a fleet. Oh, the port isn't repaired. Repair the port. Then we can repair the fleet.
Yes, Your Majesty.
You're gonna come up here
Weigh anchor.
and deal with other guys. You're partially wounded, but not too badly. Got the Spanish up here.
Awaiting further orders.
And on that note, we're going to end the episode. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos if you would. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. There's many more great historical games. Love hearing your comments, tips for playing, whatever. See you next time for more battles in the Atlantic, I guess.